Alright, welcome to MTN's tutorial on how to make world particles that collide with objects within the world. So basically, like if there is a beer bottle or, I don't know, something that just kind of chills there, you shoot it and the beer bottle flies away like, woo. So I'm going to teach you how to do that, and then rigid body is, you don't need it no more. That kind of stuff. So anyway, get your guy. Get your gun. There we go. Big ol' Mass Effect gun. I'm gonna name it gun because I tried making this video earlier and it just went totally wrong. Alright. Again, I'm gonna make my gun backwards. Let's do that. And then put it in a hand. Don't matter where. Wherever you want the particles to come out of, like your head, hand, whatever. I'm gonna make it come out of this gun, so it's gonna pew pew. And I got this box here just to show you. And I'm gonna add a plane as well. Oh geez, to kind of demonstrate that these particles are actually gonna be pushing this box. So you know what I'm talking about. I'm using rigid body to like demonstrate that it'll work. So anyway, what you want to do is go to effect, particles. If you already have pre-made particles, you can use those as well. These ones I'm just going to kind of show you. So these will be the bullets. The bullets will have the collision on it. If you have one of those particles that get activated through triggers, also works, but leave that as a trigger only. The bullets are the only ones with the collision on it to make it count as whatever it's going to be doing, which is going to be hurting and destroying and doing what bullets usually do. So the type is always going to be set to world in mode 3D, and it collides with everything. Make sure it's set to everything. There's probably a bigger list that you'll be seeing, but this is pretty much everything. I mean, the water thing, I'm not too sure as well, but you could keep that on as well, since vrchat is vrchat. Dampening will be set to 1, so that way it slows down. Balance is 0, because you don't need those things flying everywhere. And then lifetime loss is when it collides. It'll basically they'll just die on impact, so set that to 1. 1 is on, basically, and then 0 is off. And so, we demonstrate here. They just collide with that thing and then they're gone. So it's not set to world, but once you set it to world, it will do its thing, like where it travels like. But anyway, so we got that, and the bullets are really huge, so you can go to 3D or start size. You can change that so it gets smaller. Now they're going for a long ways. You can also decrease that with start speed. Go way down here. The lower the number, the slower they are, and they kind of clump up. You could also, if you don't want them to be that many at a time, you can also switch the life. Where is it? Lifetime right here. So you can switch that. So the particles will be less. And if you don't want them to be that short, you can still increase the speed. I mean, less, but they'll be there. So let's say that's those are my bullets. And if you don't like the collision, the green part is the collision, the little circles. If you don't want to be that big, you can also like increase them or decrease them depending on what you're shooting. So you could be shooting a tank, the bullets would be like the size of like this circle. Or if you're shooting like little pellets or darts or whatever, you can change that with the size. Where is it? Radius scale right here. So it's radius scale from 1. You can switch that to like really small and put it to there. It just seems like a good height. My other characters, they have them smaller because they're like a quarter tall, so they're pretty tiny. Anyway, that is that. Now, the thing to make it to where the world is affected by them. it's the send collision messages. Basically, that will allow it to, in the avatar test world, it'll break the mirror. You know, it'll tell that it's there. And the next part is the collision force. Now, this is what is going to affect the objects within it. So, the collision force is 0. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to bounce off, or why am I not hitting that? It's just going to just sit there and do that thing. But if I push play, demonstrate, so the box is now just there. It's still not being pushed. So this box is whirled, so if I move this box up, it's going to drop. It's got gravity now. So we switch the collision force higher. So let's say we'll put it to 300. It's pushing the box. That'll affect as well as the, like, this thing is part of the world, right? So the more I throw bullets at it, the more it pushes it. So you like a sucker. Anyway, that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. So the collision force, what I found was the best point was 300 to 400. I mean, you can go in between like 350. It don't really matter. But my friend said that the max was 3,000. That's pretty intense. Like, I've seen it, and the object just flies, and it causes like lag because it's bouncing off so many things, and it's probably not the best idea to do. So avoid going that high. 300 to 400, it's pretty decent. I mean, 1,000 for the bigger explosions, but with the size of the collision will also like matter on how it is. So you just fiddle with that, and you know, just don't be a bad guy. All right. So you leave the collision force to 350. You'll need to animate it, since it'll keep resetting back to 0. With animation, it'll set it to 350 always. So, I mean, you could also add a collision, what's it called, where you can explode noise sub-emitters, not noise sub-emitters. So we're gonna make this one a sub-emitter, except we're not gonna make it like, oops, that intense. Slow it down a little bit. So the start speed would be a little bit slower. And make the size a little bit smaller. You know, just do its thing. And for this, we're gonna increase the simulation speed to higher. It doesn't go any further. It just makes it spawn out faster. So what it does, and then you do lifetime, reduce that. So they're not going crazy out there. It's going to look like that. And then what you want to do is set gravity. If you put in a plus, it'll make it heavy, like kind of like a waterfall kind of thing. But if you go into minus, it counts as like anti-gravity. So we're going to give it like a small amount, you know, just, it's there kind of thing. So next is the emission. Usually this, like if you don't set it to loop, push play, and it just shows a little bit like that, right? So the duration, we're going to shorten it up to about a second. And then we'll hit plus. So now it's going to burst out 10 in one cycle. So it'll be like poof. And that's about it. A little bit slower, I guess. Poof. So that'll be the collision effect, you know, just make it look like you blew something up, effect, you know. So we'll call this burst effect. And then this will be bullets. So what you do here is drop the burst effect into the bullets, so now they're not there. Zero this out in position, so that way they're located in the same spot. And to hide this stuff, you just minimize the bar, but make sure they're checked on. Bullets, same thing. If you don't want to see the collision no more, you just hide it with minimize it. And now we need to do the sub-emitters and check mark that. So switch the birth to collision, and that'll affect whenever the particles collide against something. So the burst effect is going to be dragged and dropped into where it says none particle system. So boop. Oh jeez. Oh man. Alright, I'm back. Not sure what happened there. The thing froze up, says I gotta buy it, but I'm not gonna buy it. Uh, so anyway, we're back here. As you can tell, it's doing its thing. The burst. For each bullet, it's gonna do that. You can decrease it with the burst. You go to mission, count, and just decrease that. And it should just be less. So that way it doesn't like just go haywire. And right over time, you can set that to 0, so it looks pretty decent, I guess. There you go. So now you got your bullets. Pretty. The styling. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys will make better ones. Alright, so the next thing is with your guy, I got the V-bot. Even the jawbone's fixed. Kudos to that guy. What you want to do is go to where you want to put the gun at. I mean, you can put it anywhere. You can probably put it on the spine, do your thing. So this guy's going to have it in his right hand. So what you would do is you grab the gun, drop it into the right hand. So now it's part of him. And what you want to do is, from the gun, what you want to do is right click and create empty. And you'll have an empty game object. We're going to name this to IK follower. And that way that's what's going to be part of the world particles and causing it to make it look legit. It also simulates the rigid body and fixed joint. So you go to this thing, add component, and then go to IK. And this will come up as vrchat IK follower. There's probably more stuff if you download more stuff, but this is what you need the most. And you don't need to do anything with that. After you do that, that's done. You leave that alone. And then the next thing is wherever you want the bolts to shoot from, which I can fix that real quick because we're gonna shoot it outside of the bullet or the barrel, which makes the most sense. Move it to where the barrel is. Just go ahead and do that. Whoops. I don't know what happened there. And we're still shooting the box. The box is a bad guy. Alright. There you go. So we'll say it's right on the barrel, right? Perfect. Anyway. So, as you can tell, it's working. So with the bullets, you gotta put it inside the IK follower. So now that'll do its thing. This gun will be set to animation, so like when you want to turn it on like that, it'll be turned on. But the bullets have to be set to turn off. But before we do that, we got to create the animation for the collision bullets. So what you want to do is go to add component, go to type in Annie, go to animator. The animator's here. You don't touch anything right here, but what you do is you go to window, then you go to animation, create, name it bullet force, because that's for the collision. You save it, and what you want to do is add property, and then here's the systems right here. So what we're going to do is go to the particle system, open that arrow, and it's going to have a bunch of this stuff. That's everything that's on here, but we're looking for the collision module collider force. So that's what's going to cause it to interact with objects in the world. So hit the plus, and then you go to, it's already set to 350, which is good, as it would be over here. Stays that way. But you want to bring this all the way over to 0.01 second. And it should be good. So now that'll always stay on. So this is, and it'll switch this with bullets. That's what your particle is called. After that, that's done. You don't need to mess with that no more. So once we got that, also don't forget to set your collision effect to world. Otherwise, it'll follow wherever your hand is, and it looks weird. Weird. All right. So now we did that. What you want to do is turn the bullets off because it'll be set as an animation. You keep the IK follower on, and it's going to be right here, which is fine. And it's the same spot where the gun is. And you just hide the gun. And even though it's going to be like falsely triggered, but it'll be there. So now the gun is set. All we got to do is animate it to where we can have it in our hand during an animation, like let's say thumbs up or finger pistol. So now we got to duplicate this guy to do the animation. This guy go in front, and what you want to do is go to Windows, Animation, Create, and this will be to hold the gun, you know, to aim before you fire. That's usually what I do. Makes it look more legit and cool, I guess. And also you can deal with like sound too. But I don't have any sound on this one, so it's the same thing as just like turning it on. But anyway, you would go to where your gun is. Skip all that. You go to your right shoulder, or wherever your gun is. So mine's on the right. It's in my hand, gun, and you go to it's active. So that's that. He'll go in animation pose. You could also like fix the fingers too to like do your thing. But as you can tell, it turns off at this second. So what you want to do is delete these keys. Go back to here, and where it says 1, I'm going to click on this gray spot and add key. So now it's always checked. And if you go back and forth, it'll always be checked. Now I've seen people have problems where they, on the second frame, it would be checked off. And whenever they played it, it would like constantly be turning on and off. Just to make sure they're both checked. So that way it doesn't do that. You'll always have it on. So there's that. And if you add sound to like equip the gun, you could also just add that as well, but I don't have it. You set that to the same frame. So that's done. So we got the gun, we're holding it. And now what you want to do, so you don't get cluttered with all these files, is where it says controller, VBot. You just want to click on that and delete it. Yes. And then now it's back to none. So then we could go back to Windows and go back to animation and create again. And this time it's going to be shoot gun. It'll still be in our hand and everything. So you go to armature. Oops. Actually, there's an easier way to do that since this is slower. You go up here to your guy that you duplicated. You open up where your gun would be. God, I don't understand why there's so many spines. It doesn't even work. Go to your gun. And what you want to do is open up to here where your bullets are coming from. So then what you want to do is hold control, click on gun, and click on bullets. And this is going to highlight the 3. You click on record. You can go back there. You click on this or here. And then it'll show these two. You want to stop. And now you get the bullets animation and you're holding the gun again. And then on the second frame, you add a key again. So now it's just going back and forth. Boom. And then if you want a way to hold your gun, you can have muscle animation, which I've never done that. But you could also go to the animator here and add property. You could go find where the fingers are at. You can find like right hand metal stretch, so that's the base part. And you can see like this part right here, the middle finger is stretching up and down. You could adjust it to if he's holding it, but you have to do that for the second frame as well. Make sure it's the same number. Like it is 34, so 0.34. So now it's just always going to follow that. Alright, and after that, you are done with the animations. Congratulations. Click on this guy. So this is the duplicate. And we say goodbye to him. And this is that body thing that we animated. So you could also just get rid of that. You don't need that. And now you go to your guy. Alright, and you go to create animation or animator override controller. This is what it's going to use for vrchat. I'm going to click on this little dot, avatar control template, and then you get the whole setup. So, and then you drop whatever you want to like hold the gun. I usually put it on a finger pistol or finger gun to hold it. So here's handgun. He's drag and drop where it is, and then where it says shoot the gun. I actually do thumbs up. I mean, it simulates like shooting a gun, I guess. Well, like, so I'm simulating like shooting a gun with my thumbs up. So now, once you do that, you pretty much got your animator. You can rename it to your character. So vbot controller, and so now we go to our character we're gonna use. We go to add component and go to vrc avatar descriptor right here. This is for uploading your characters. So then you got your animator up here, and I'll do the pose, so controller, and then you got the standing and sitting, which I've recently heard that, or tested that with this IKFR. If you sit while shooting, it'll actually bug out the gun, even though sometimes I've seen it a couple times, not very often, but it'll sometimes do that. And the only way to fix that is by switching avatars again. But there's probably a way around it. You do your thing. So I don't even know if this guy's got any visings, but if you have some, just go to lip sync and do vising blend, drop the skin on there, and you set up the whole shebang. But I'm setting it default, auto detect, but nothing there. The viewpoint, you set that. So I think one was 1.7, 6, 7, right there, I guess. It's low-eyed. And then it was 0.13. So you want it kind of like inside the mesh, but at the same time really close to like the face. Maybe I should raise that a little bit higher. Looks weird. Nah. Yeah, that's about right. And basically you're ready to go then. Just, once you do that, got your controller, got your stuff. You can go to your vrchat tab, which I have the tab already, and down here it'll say like you're good to go. Build and publish. You could also go up here and show build control panel, and that's the same thing there. And that's the tutorial for World Collision. Have at it, boys, and good luck to you. Peace.